Okay, what's this Goldilocks zone? Is every influencer out there healthy? I'm going to say no, but some, yes. And I'm going to go over some things with you right now that are going to change the way you think when it comes to influencers and finding your Goldilocks zone. What the hell does it mean anyway? So stay here, hit that like button, subscribe today. If you are coming back, thank you very much. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. It's been a great couple of months here. And if you are new, thanks for coming. Tell somebody. Thank you. But seriously, what's this Goldilocks? It's about exercise, right? This is what the minimum by standard, by documentation of amount of exercise you should be getting every week. Meaning 75 minutes of high intensity exercise, running, cardio, things like that. Or 150 minutes of moderate exercise, meaning let's say walking, jogging, something very low, low intensity. But most of us don't need this in this area. These can be adjusted, right? When you want to lose body fat, keep your muscle, gain muscle, and for longevity's sake. That's my whole theory that's what I think about constantly when it comes to educating myself, when it comes to the science, and when it comes to the literature and putting them together to formulate a program for anybody that is in the real world, real life time, real life families, children, husbands, wives, significant others. We all don't have the ability to be influencers, right? And it just doesn't happen. And that's why I say most influencers have the ability to do things that that most people don't normally do when it comes to those four scenarios. And, at 51 years old, I'm still on that precipice of like, man, this is, it started off with longevity. I've lost a lot of people in life, early in life. I'm like, wow, I don't want to do that. I don't want that. I mean, it can happen. But if I can control my body fat, gain muscle to help me get through tougher times as I get older, and being able to extend that out is a great thing. So to me, that Goldilocks zone, this here, really is a good approach when it comes to just getting started in a way where, okay, somebody who's not doing anything for extended periods of time, yeah, that's a good place to put yourself into, because low intensity, 150 minutes of walking every week, we can all do that. I run into so many people, real life, that only walk or take 3,000, maybe 4,000 steps in any given day. And the weekends, it could be lower than that. During the week, it could be even lower than that. And then on the weekends, it picks up because they do more activities. It's an up and down scenario. There is no Goldilocks in there, right? There is no zone there. It's just finding that zone. And I've learned a lot of things from influencers, especially over the last 7 years. And there are 3 influencers that I follow enough to where I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you the 2 things that completely changed the way I look at things when it comes to fitness and nutrition. Number 1 was the keto diet. Couldn't stand the thought of it 7 years ago. Like, okay, who wants to eat all this fat and protein and not eat any carbs, right? So I did it, right? I did. Not that I did that at time. I'm like, okay, well, I've seen the literature. I've seen people like, okay, wow, that's incredible. The fat loss. So I plugged it into my 25, 30-pound fat loss journey back then. And I'm like, completely changed. And I seen this from a couple influencers that I'm like, wow. Okay. And then that inspired me to just not only follow that, but incorporate versions of that diet into my clients, again, real life. Because with all the knowledge in the world on here, it makes no difference if you don't apply it to real life within reason. Now, do I believe in low calorie diets? No, I don't. Do I believe in intermittent fasting? Yes, I do. I intermittent fast every day. I take a 16-hour window and don't eat at all. That's one of the other things that I've learned, not only from influencers, but I've had a couple of people in my life that follow, for religious reasons that did fasting. And I'm like, That was like 9 years ago, where I was like, wow, they were in very good shape. Those specific. I'm like, that is, with me being a personal trainer more so than that at that time, I'm like, I focused on nutrition, but not as much as I followed it over the I mean, I did, but not as reading a lot, like documentation from colleges and studies, and taking that and finding and seeing these three influencers that I follow, watching what they're doing and how they're studying it, broaden my thought process on the keto diet, on intermittent fasting, plugging it into my Goldilocks zones, and showing folks how to do that for themselves on a system that becomes that, right? So it becomes their specific Goldilocks zone. Because for me, the third thing there, it was intermittent fasting, it was the keto diet, okay, that really, it took influencers to influence me to the next level. And then walking. I started seeing these 10,000 step challenges, 25,000, 30,000, 40,000, up to, I've seen a 40,000 step challenge. I know somebody who did one. I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy for a week. I'm like, 40,000 steps in a week, every day? That's your life. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, like, I'm all for walking, but goodness. But I realized that not only my clients, but myself, I was only walking an average of 5,000, maybe 6,000 steps a day at some points, right? Because I started monitoring on a watch, to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I took an influencer's challenge way back. And I'm like, and it started at 10, then I went on a 25,000 step challenge. But those things, from walking to intermittent fasting to the keto diet, allowed me to, when I seen the influencers that are actually putting the science behind it, the documentation or the literature behind it that has been studied so much, that those three things were the combination of everything that really changed the way I look at dieting and fitness. Because I was doing way too much cardio. I wasn't doing enough walking, right? I mean, on my days off, I wasn't doing really anything. And I started doing cardio a lot every day, but it wasn't getting to 10,000 steps. It was half an hour. Sometimes once in a while I'll do an hour. But it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I stopped doing a lot of cardio, and I started, because I was playing sports. I was playing basketball a lot, mostly, and I was playing tennis two times a week, sometimes three. And it was an hour, hour and a half. And then doing cardio, another, that was just too much, as I was getting to a place where I lost a lot of body fat on the keto diet and intermittent fasting. And it was one of those, again, I'm going over this because it was like these studies I've written down, not only for myself, client after client after client, influencer. And combining that helped me find my Goldilocks zone, and it put me in perspective of helping others do the same thing. And when it comes down to that, it's really all about putting yourself in a scenario of finding your Goldilocks zone. Starting here, to me, is the foundation. Moving forward to fat loss, muscle gain, muscle retention, these numbers have to be correlated in a way where to gain muscle, you have to have resistance training. You have to tear those muscles into little fiber tears in order for them to repair to add on muscle, right? That's very simple. I mean, I can break down the the science behind it, but that's not why we're here. So are us influencers really as healthy? I believe some of us are. Some of us practice what we preach. Some of us, and I know quite a few, but mostly the ones I follow, have pulled back on a lot of things, like the keto diet, like lots of cardio. Okay, right? The keto diet, like I said, the keto diet, by incorporating carbohydrates, maybe 100 grams a day versus none, or 150 calories a day. And that's me. I've done that. I've seen keto work in a way that cardio does work. Cardio's not going to go away. It does work. I mean, me playing basketball 2-3 times a week is a lot of cardio for me, because it's a lot of sessions. I burnt a lot of calories during that time, and that's like high intensity cardio. I mean, that's full court running up and down. And I'm saying this because you can put yourself in that position and build your own Goldilocks zone, starting with this as the foundation. Again, subscribe, guys, please, and watch this video wherever it's at, and it will give you some more insight on, I'm sure, probably fat loss or muscle gain, or how to live longer. I want us all to live forever. Come on. Come on, look at your grandkids. Look at your kids. If you're in that zone in your life, come on, you want to add a few more years onto it. I'll talk to you soon.